Hello, hello, my friends. How's it going? It's about that time. We are back at it again today, this Wednesday, with more Risk of Rain. I recently made some changes to my stream setup because I realized last stream I was watching the VOD, and I was watching specifically the parts where you go in and get when you're far into the run. And I just noticed that like everything started to bleed together. Like when there was a lot of stuff going on screen, like everything just got really pixelated. And I think what was possibly causing that was the fact that I run all of my games on a 1440p monitor at 144 hertz. And Risk of Rain is not a very graphically intensive game. So naturally, I tend to run that at like max FPS. I don't think I have anything limiting it, honestly. But I output on Twitch to at 720p 60. So for perspective, so what OBS does is that it downscales that 1440p 144 hertz signal down to 720p 60 frames per second. So that's a big drop. Like 1440p to 720p is already a large drop in resolution, but 144 frames per second versus 60 frames per second is like over double the frames per second. So I imagine what was happening when it was bleeding together and like all the crazy artifacting was going on was that there were just so many frames, and it's like trying to put out only 60 frames, so it has to like pick and choose which frames it wants to put out. But like it's a lot of frames to have to downscale. Anyway, long story, all the dumb technical shit. Oh. Okay. Pizza got stung by a bug, apparently. But, fuck. But anyway, without all the technical bullshit stuff, I set it so that my stream is now, OBS is recording my screen at 1080p instead of the full resolution. And then I'm also going to be limiting Risk of Rain to 60 FPS, in hopes that on your end, it will look less like a clown vomited on the screen when we get into a really complex run. So I'm going to be watching the VOD after this to see if the settings that I changed will do anything. But I'm hoping that this will be better, and it'll also free up more space or more processing power on my computer, since it's not needing to process as many pixels. Anyway, we're going to play some Risk of Rain. And like I said, this weekend we're also going to be playing Golden Sun, so that'll be fun. I can't wait to continue that. There is like a bug on the floor, apparently. It's some sort of stingy bug. There's a bug. Bugs. Okay. Let me see. I think I also had to so as a result of me changing to 1080p, I had to resize all of my windows. And also Risk of Rain is running at a, I guess this is an unanticipated, hold on. Yeah, this is what I had to do all, when I switched everything. I had to resize every single window to be, to fit into the 1080p, because the 1080p resolution is like, I don't know, like a 2/3 of the size of 1440p, so I had to resize all of my elements. So like, I might also need to adjust that. Things might be too big or too small, but it should be mostly fine. Hopefully. Okay. I think today I kind of want to do some multi-runs. I was doing multi a little bit ago when I was playing by myself, and I got some pretty okay results. He's not always like my most reliable character, as I've already said multiple times, is Huntress, because I don't know, it just flows well for me. The teleport in particular, the dash teleport, is really useful for getting out of the way of things in general. It's just very, very fast, and I'm pretty sure it has some sort of like invincibility of some sort. But Multi has the little the runaway. That's what I call it. He like goes into a little thing and he runs away. He zooms about. Although I do very, very much enjoy Multi. I used to play Multi a lot more back towards the beginning, when I first started playing Risk of Rain. They changed his alternate fire so that it automatically charges up. It used to be that you had to hold it down and then let go of it, but it does it automatically for you now. But one of the tricks that I've picked up with Multi is that his dash isn't just something that you can use to get away. Like, it's actually a really, really good damage dealer. So if you are in the middle of like a boss, or like if you're in the middle of an area that has just a fuck ton of enemies around, like just use your shift and like dash through as many enemies as you can, and then towards the end of that dash you run into like a boss or like a big enemy that you're trying to kill. That becomes more useful later in the run, because like normally I do use it just to get around or to get away from things, but it is genuinely useful for like damage at certain points. Ooh, crit glasses. Multi is also a good option for the Lost Seers lenses, because the more chances, or the more you hit an enemy, the more chances you get to do the thing where it instantly kills it. And Multi has one of the highest like attack speeds in the game. Once you get enough syringes, his nail gun becomes a laser beam. But yeah, this week has been, it started out okay. I mean, 4th of July was 4th of July, you know? There was apparently a protest in my town that people went to that day. I had to go, I had to do some stuff later that night to get, to help out one of my siblings. But other than that, we just kind of like sat around for the most part. It was also the first weekend that I had no schoolwork at all. So I like woke up Saturday morning and I was like, wow, I have nothing to do. I don't have to do anything. And that's when I decided to, I just like on the spur of the moment, I was like, I'm going to start learning game dev, because like that's what that was my excuse all the time whenever my boss was talking about my future with me. And I know that's not something that like people's bosses do normally. My boss is like a weird enigma. Like he's like actually a good, like he's what, for the most part, not entirely. He is kind of closer to what like people would like bosses, like people that are really into the idea of bosses would idealize bosses to be. He's like someone who is invested in my well-being and like how like my education and like how well I do my job and stuff. Like obviously how well I do my job, but like just in general, like developing me as a person in general. And I think that's just because I work at a nonprofit and I work with people who generally like have a better have a hope for better with the systems that they're trying to like enter into, you know. So like my boss is like pretty cool in some ways, not entirely, but you know, everybody's boss is kind of like that. Not like the idealized version, but like kind of like they all have some sort of bad thing about them being a boss. But he is, every time that I try to explain to him what my ideal vision is for like what I want to do in the future, I'm always telling him like I have school, like I can't really like, I have to focus on that first. And that's always been my excuse for like starting big projects like game development and shit. So now that I don't have school, like I just had like the spontaneous urge. I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And on Saturday, I got into Godot, or Godot. I want to call it Godot because I feel like that's what they imply. They have like a little robot head guy for their mascot. So like, of course I'm gonna call it Godot. But it's pretty cool. It's a free and open source game development engine. It, as opposed to like Unity or Game Maker, they have subscription services. Like for instance, Game Maker, it is free for you to start using, but when you start making over a certain amount of revenue from your game, they will start requiring you to pay them for making it in their engine. Oh fuck, I'm gonna die, aren't I? Yeah, I'm gonna die. Fuck. That was a bad place for a vagrant fight. I had like an okay start too, but with you, so, and that's how most of the subscription services work with the game development engines. Like Unreal also has something like that, where it's like after a certain amount, they start taking royalties. But with Godot, it's a completely open source engine that users are, it's constantly being updated, and like it's not as prevalent, like there's not as many well-known games made with Godot, and that's mostly because of its limitations that it's had as it's grown over the years. But as of right now, I feel like Godot is kind of on a precipice of like having most of the features that, most if not all of the features that other game development engines have. And as game devs usually know, no engine is like perfect. There's no superior engine. You know, they all have their own quirks and flaws and pros and cons. But I'm pretty excited about Godot, at least. They have their own in-engine editor with their own it's not proprietary. Proprietary is like a corporate thing, like a company owns it. But they have an editor in the app that has its. They have their own scripting language called GDScript. And it's very useful. It's very similar to Python, and Python is one of the programming languages that was the easiest for me to deal with. A lot of programmers tend to like very specific, long-winded, highly customizable languages. But I tend to like languages that are efficient and don't you don't have to like write a ton. I would prefer it if I had to type as little as possible to get things done. The less code, the better, in my opinion. But it's all pretty cool. I'm learning. This weekend I'm going to jump into a 2D action RPG tutorial from a YouTuber called Heartbeast. And if you're interested, I'd encourage you to download Godot. Like usually, I feel like the last time that I downloaded a game engine, it was Unity, and it took a lot of configuration, and there were like it felt like there were a lot of different pieces that you had to put in place. But with Godot, it's literally just an executable. There wasn't even an install. It was like I downloaded the program, and it ran right out of the box. Like I could put it anywhere. I didn't have to install it anywhere. And it just seems like really easy to open and close, and just has a good workflow in general. But I'm gonna do an action RPG tutorial this weekend, and it's gonna be pretty nice. And then from there, I think I'm gonna use that to move forward on more independent projects, I guess. I know I'm not gonna put out like a perfect game in the first year. Like I'm pretty sure every like tutorial that I was watching was like, you're not gonna make anything good within the first year, or so don't count on it. And I don't know, like it just seems like a common theme in general when I'm learning about game dev. It's very much like a long-term passion type thing that you're not going to be very good at very quickly. Like even a lot of there are all sorts of stories of people making a game and then just years and years and years go by. So like I'm fully expecting that to a degree, you know. Like I was watching a video on the guy who made Stardew Valley. I forget his name, Concerned Ape, but he did a very similar thing where it was just like Stardew Valley was in development for a long, long time, And he had anticipated on releasing it way earlier than when it actually did get released. And then there's like Toby Fox, of course. Like, he's been working on Deltarune in multiple pieces for like a long ass time. So like, game development is very obviously like a thing that, and that was something that I kind of gathered from when I was watching the videos on Concerned Ape, is that he had a very much, I'm going to do everything myself and not get any feedback from anyone else except for the people that, like my girlfriend that I live with, like literally just one other person. But like going it all alone and not letting other people like be involved, I feel like that's just like a path to failure. I feel like a lot of the times when I hear about solo developers, it's just like they take this weird, it's not necessarily that they specifically, but a lot of people glorify that idea of spending like inane amount of time of your free time and like overworking yourself and like just going through all this turmoil to put out a game that like that may be good. Like sometimes it's good and it turns out fine, like with Undertale and like the fringe cases, you know, those aren't the norm. But like they glorify just like working yourself to fucking death. Get down, Buzz. Working yourself to death to like put out this passion project for like years and years and years and like not getting any help from anybody. Like it just feels dumb, you know? Like I get it, like how some people are like, when I get to the end of this, I want to be the only person profiting from it, but also I don't. I mean, yeah, if you do create all of the stuff, like I guess you are entitled to like all of it, you know, that's fine. But also, what did it cost? Fucking 8 hours of working full time, and then the rest of your free time is spent grueling away. I just don't get it. So like, I think if I were to make something, I would definitely try to get help from people to some degree, you know. And that's always been kind of my dream and ideal if I ever wanted to make my own indie game studio. Would be if I were to make an indie game studio, I think anybody that worked with me, it would be kind of like a co-op type deal. I wouldn't want to be like the manager or the person in charge of it. It would just be, you know, we're making games, and we all get to profit from that, you know. New Blood. Oh, nice. Yeah, just in general, I think it's just a good idea to like all be equally invested and all on the same level with that kind of stuff. I feel like a lot of the problems that come with like indie devs that go bad and just have like all sorts of allegations and shit. I feel like a lot of those instances are just like people getting power trips over their ideas and their companies and their business ventures and shit. I just want to make a cool game, you know? That's really the main thing. I wouldn't even care if I didn't make that much money from it, honestly. And like, that's not me to say that like as an indie dev you should not want to be compensated for your work, you know? Like, I wouldn't care to do it because it means more to me than money, but like the money is still something that if we're living in capitalism where somebody can take my idea and like profit off of it, or like buy it from me and profit off of it, then like I have value that I have to deal with. It would be foolish for me to not care about it entirely. Where is... I feel like I've just been going so slow. Hold on. We need to get to this portal. I've also just not been coming across any crazy good items or chests or anything. Beetle Queen. Oh my god, Jesus. Oh yes, Lost Seer's lenses. Perfect. Oh nope, don't do it. Oh, I hate him. Get out of here. I hate these motherfuckers. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, maybe not multi. He's just not flowing with me. Let's see. I'm gonna move this down just a wee bit. There we go. Let's go. I guess let's just start it off good and and go with what I'm comfortable with. Let's go. Let's do a Huntress one. This one will be probably aimed at getting the Void Fields. Because I don't have any reason to do Mithrix or anything. I've completely forgotten about the Huntress's primary shift ability. I've just always used the dash. It feels more natural, I guess, to me, as opposed to the long teleport. But the teleport was directional. I think that's the only thing that I've missed, but honestly, I haven't missed it. I haven't thought about it. I haven't really had too much of a use for it. If I need to go vertical, I'll just use my R. Oh, you know what? I forgot to set my frame rate. Yeah, see, it was the FPS limit was set to 144. Okay, there we go. This should be a lot more even. Because I was looking over and it looked like it was a different FPS than what I was looking at on this screen, and it definitely is. But this should be way better. Yeah, it does look go. It look very good. I think it's because when you put a higher resolution image into a smaller resolution, it tends to act as like a sharpening filter in a way. Oh, how's it going, Skashi? Nice to see you. How's your week been so far? I know your SO came out. Let's see. It has been absolutely wonderful. Nice. That's always the good thing, having a long distance relationship visit. Ooh, a Prayon. Oh no, they're gonna make me choose between the executive card and the Prayon. I can't. I just feel like every time that I get the executive card, it trumps everything else. I can't. It's just so good. Like, it means more items. Like, just the fact that you can buy every item from a multi-shop, it just makes it automatically better than almost every equipment. Not only that, but if you have a horn, you don't have to, even though you can't use the card, like it's not an active use item, every time that you buy something, it procs the card, or it procs the buff that you get from anything that benefits from you using your equipment item. Okay, I need to probably leave. But yeah, what I'm hoping is that when I look at the VOD later, if I get to the point where I have, I'm getting far into the run, I'm hoping that when things get complex, there's not going to be any blurring or artifacting or anything. Ah, Jesus Christ. I've gotten 3 Vagrants. Yeah, just in general with Huntress, it feels like it's a lot easier for me to not take damage. And I think that's just on the account of constantly moving all of the time in very sudden directions at varying speeds. Most survivors, I feel, suffer from like a really consistent way that they move, except for the ones that have like dashes and easily accessible, low cooldown movement abilities. Like Loader doesn't have a very consistent pattern of moving. Like the key to not being hit in Risk of Rain, just in general, is to be not moving in a predictable, consistent way on the ground. You can move in like a semi-predictable, consistent way and be in the air, and it's really hard for hit scan enemies to hit you, or just anything to hit you in general. Like if you're on, that's why the feather is such a good item, is because it's a good item for almost every champion, is because if you're jumping, it's a lot harder for basically anything to hit you. You cut out all of the land-based melee enemies, and then all of the projectile enemies have a hard time keeping track of where you're going. Also, I wanted to tell you about this lunar item combo that I was shown. Oh, nice. Yeah, I was actually thinking about a combo with the, Guester of the Sea and the Hellfire. Yeah, that is what I was thinking about too. Hellfire Tincture, if you have enough healing, I was thinking about a combo where you... it's the item that heals you when you take flat damage. And if you combine with that, one of those items isn't enough healing to make up for the damage that the Hellfire Tincture does to you. But if you had multiple of them, or possibly more healing than just the whatever that item is, then you basically just have, like, it gets to the point where every time that you're damaged, like if you have an ignite effect, the ignite would actually heal you rather than hurt you. I'm sure they're gonna have to they're gonna have to do something about that. I don't know. I guess it depends on how hard it is to actually pull off. I'll have to do some fucking around to see. But if I could pull that off, I feel like that would be too much. Okay. Let's get this chest, see if there are any big chests around us, and then probably get out of here. There's a scrapper. Crit glasses. I think that's the only criticism that I have of Huntress as somebody that plays a lot of Huntress, is that if you don't have crit glasses, it's really hard to scale your damage when you get later into the game, I think. Because like 95% of the time when I'm late in the game as Huntress and I don't have any crit glasses, I just feel like I'm significantly below my damage potential. Like literally only 2 or 3 crit glasses maybe would significantly increase my damage, just because of the fact that her, when you crit, she has like double the projectiles. That by itself is just a significant, like it gives you more of a benefit than just having crit glasses would have, you know? I am gonna get rid of these 2 items though. I recently got the mastery for Railgunner. It's the only survivor that I have the mastery for. I feel like I would like to get the mastery for Railgunner. I really like the way that Railgunner plays. I just don't like the lack of mobility, I guess. But the fact that I can take on most enemies from long range is very, very nice. Especially for enemies that are a gigantic pain in the ass to be up close next to. Plus, it's got that nice, like, there are two different type of snipers in video games. There are the highly technical snipers where, like, you have to be extremely precise and, like, stand still and do all this other shit to like land shots. But then there are the snipers that is literally just point and click. Like, I know that a lot of CSGO players say that like playing op or like being like a really good sniper is all about literally just clicking on a head. But it's a lot more than that. It's about standing still. It's, oh, holy shit, did I just clip through the levels? Okay. But it's about standing still and like all sorts of other shit. But then there is another type of sniper in video games that is literally just about clicking on heads. And that's my favorite one. Kind of more like an arcadey sniper type feel. Very much like maybe a COD. A COD or like a Borderlands sniper rifle. Those are my favorite kinds of snipers. Titanfall 2 was kind of like a weird mix between the technical aspect of sniping and the high skill aspect of sniping. The technical aspect of sniping and the arcadey version of sniping. Where it was like they had a sniper rifle that no matter where it hit you, it always did, I think it was called the longbow. It always killed you. I don't know. I don't think it's the longbow. I think it's the Kraber. That's what it is. The Kraber is a one-shot sniper rifle that you can use in Titanfall 2 multiplayer. And Titanfall, as you know, has wall running and grappling hooks and like extremely high skill movement mechanics. And combining that with arcade type sniping that isn't super precise actually results in a more skillful version of like arcade sniping, you know, without having like a lot of the technical bullshit, like having to stand still. Instead of like having to stand still to hit a precise shot, Titanfall encourages you to be moving at incredibly high speeds and hitting headshots. So like it's a nice, neat twist on that. Yeah, Titanfall 2 is very, very good, by the way. It is old. It was old even back when I was playing it back in like 2018, 2019. But it's still very much worth it. It has a very dedicated player base. I don't know if it's dropped off a whole ton because I know a lot of people now play Apex Legends, but regardless, it's just like it's got very, very timeless, very satisfying gameplay loop. And even when you lose games, like it's got a very rare quality for a competitive shooter, where even where you lose, it doesn't really feel like you lost. Like you still feel like you had fun playing the game, instead of like feeling like shit and that your teammates are awful. And I really appreciate that. Like the gameplay itself is the motivation for playing, not just being good at it, you know. I gotta focus though, because I'm gonna die if I'm not careful. I do have my healing drone though, that's good. Thank God for healing drone, even though my healing drone is kind of struggling right now. Okay. Oh no! These alpha constructs are the worst. Jesus Christ. I needed to get rid of it. It was causing too much chaos. Damn it. Even with Huntress, I'm having a hard time. Jesus. Let's try one more go. Yeah. It's very much the the early game is the most intensive. I feel like since I've started playing Risk of Rain, I've slowly gotten less consistent at having long, successful runs, and I generally view that as a good thing, because I feel like at the beginning of Risk of Rain 2, it was too easy to get good runs. This way, I feel more challenged, I guess. Monsoon got a lot harder. Like, I remember there's probably some point, but I remember multiple instances of me either getting turned off from Risk of Rain or saying to Temp while we're playing together that Monsoon got a lot harder. Like, Monsoon got significantly harder. As well as Rainstorm. Rainstorm even got way harder. I remember there was a point where I didn't want to play Risk of Rain as much anymore because it just felt like I wasn't, like, all of a sudden I wasn't good at it anymore. And it took some getting used to, but after a while, I am now at the point where I feel like it's a good, like, I'm not always going to do good, but also I can feel like I have the potential to make good runs. Or like I know that a lot of the reason why I die is actually my fault and not just because the enemies are fucky. Let's see. Although, I guess my one thing is it feels like there are like a few items that are almost necessary for both certain characters and other characters, or just characters in general. Okay, I probably need to. I think I'm doing pretty good on items, so I probably just need to go. That the Will-O-Wisp corruption was a good pickup. Good initial pickup. But where is the teleporter? Okay. Little Queen. Oh, that golem moved his laser real quick. I used my R to get out of the way of his laser, and he moved his laser faster than most golems would. He's like, oh, you think I can't track you on a Y-axis? Watch this. Oh, hey, there's a big chest over here. I think we got enough time. Oh, I didn't realize you were fucking... That's where he was. He was above me. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, this is a good starting setup. What? Oh, I don't have any yellow items. It's the planula. It's got like a tiny guy in it. I didn't realize there was a tiny guy in the planula. planula, placenta. Oh. Tiny man. What'd you say? Placenta? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you don't just completely, just for a second, close your eyes and completely pretend that placenta doesn't mean what it means. And, like, think of it as a girl's name. I feel like it would... That's a pretty cool name. Little placenta. I don't know, just a thought. In case... in case any linguists feel like murdering what placenta means. Why not?
I would get judged by all the moms.
I'm gonna name my baby Fetus. Like Wheatus. Boink. Okay. Oh hey, it's a free thing. Oh shit. No, that's not. No, I'm not picking that up. I thought I was multi for a second, and I chose the Lost Sears lenses, but I almost single-handedly fucked up my Huntress run. Cause I'm just a teenage. What would be the replacement if Wheatus was called Fetus? Okay, where's the teleporter? I just need the world to know that on the last day of school, the first year I taught 5th grade, I had a student wear a shirt that said Fetus Deletus. I didn't want to be teenage fetus. Guitar sounds ensued. Excuse me? I feel like I have not seen any trace of the teleporter. I think it's funny that now that I've, as I've evolved in my beliefs, because back in like 2019, I was a completely different person. Like I was I mean, not like completely different, but like in terms of belief and like the things I knew and the things I was aware of and the things that I cared about, I was incredibly different. But back then I went to a concert to see Hobo Johnson. I know, don't worry, I'm not really into Hobo Johnson anymore, but he played with Mom Jeans. They were there, and I saw them, and I at first wasn't really super into the sound of Mom Jeans or bands similar to Mom Jeans, where it was just like the very whiny math rocky doo-wop. Yeah, that front-bottom sound. I've never really been into the front-bottom sound, but, like, since then, like, as I've evolved in, like, my musical tastes and, like, my beliefs and, like, how I relate to things now, I've started picking up on the more, like, whiny, noisy, not super... Yeah, because, like, I also feel whiny, and, like, I feel like that whininess is warranted. And, like, that's how I've come to relate to it, I guess, where it's just, like... Yeah, like, it's just... I just feel like the whininess is warranted, and I relate to it now. And also, like, I find value... I feel like before I valued music as, like, a technical feat, as opposed to, like, an art or something that was about expressing yourself. I felt like it was more something that I was doing to impress people, as opposed to expressing myself. And I feel that I've started to appreciate bands that are less like shiny on the outside, you know, like less processed, technical, like they have high-end equipment and like have been doing it forever. And like I value more like that raw feel of like people just making shit and not caring about like how like conventionally pretty it is, I guess. And like a lot of bands, I've appreciated a lot of bands recently that have that kind of aesthetic. And that's not to say that they aren't like technically impressive or whatever, because I feel like a lot of good technical shit comes from a lot of impressive shit comes from that expression. Like I've just, one of the things that I've noticed when as I've progressed in my drumming is that a lot of drumming is less about actually knowing the technique and being precise about it. It's more about feeling it and making it feel natural. And that is a skill that you can't like teach in a technical capacity. It is something that you just do. Like it's something you gain a feel for, and you have a very unique feel, like a very unique experience of that. And like that experience is what you see when artists make their music, you know? It's just like a unique, it gives them their individual sound. And that's kind of what I'm realizing, is that like a lot of that stuff is more about feeling, less about like the impressive technical capacity about it. Like I can still appreciate well-produced, expensive, like bands that have a lot of resources and a lot of time and a lot of whatever to make like their perfect album or whatever. But like I tend to value a band that is like in their van, touring around, barely able to like afford anywhere to stay, and like couch surfing off of friends in various states and shit. Like I tend to value that more. It's a lot more relatable to me, you know? Yeah, you can tell they're working hard for it, and like their shit is like passion. Wungus. I did get the Wungus. That is always a good thing, because I'm always sprinting on. Like literally, if I am moving, I'm going to be sprinting if I am playing Huntress. How's it going, Adnan? Nice to see you. I appreciate you stopping by. But yeah, that's been a lot of like the most inspiring bands for me, are like bands that aren't super well known but have like a really good sound and a lot of passion behind it. And like that good sound doesn't need them, like they don't need amazing equipment or like oh yeah, just commitment and passion, and just being like really intensely about your art on stage is something that I am really into. The Wungus is good. It's not as good as I would like it to be on. So when I first found out about the Weeping Fungus, I was like, oh, this would be really cool. This makes the mobile turrets viable, because they're always moving. And I wasn't going to move to the mobile turrets. I was going to move to the mobile turrets because, or I couldn't move to the mobile turrets because the fungus only worked when you were standing still. So I was like, the only way to play engineer is to have the stationary turrets, because that means that if they have a mushroom, then they are always able to heal. And that was like that was my main thing. But when I found out the Weeping Fungus came out, I was like, oh, this makes mobile turrets viable. And it kind of does, but it doesn't. Like when you're far away from the turrets, they will sprint, and the Weeping Fungus only works when you're sprinting, as opposed to like just moving in general. Which I really think it would probably be too overpowered if that were the case. Like it would just be literally just passive healing if it's like every time that you're moving, because you're very rarely not moving. Engineer's whole shtick is that he breaks the mold and doesn't move. So I think it would be a little bit overpowered, but I was hopeful. I was like, this means my turrets, at least make my turrets always in a sprinting state, you know? So that they can benefit from the fungi the same way that the stationary ones can. But that is not the case. It only heals them when they are sprinting. And they only sprint if you are far enough away from them that they feel the need to sprint to get to you. Which sucks. I mean, it's fine. But on almost every other character, it's pretty cool. So I guess that kind of does the opposite of what the fungus does on like a meta level, you know? It used to be that the fungus was only really super important on the engineer, but the weeping fungus is useful on everyone but the engineer with the mobile turrets. Or with any turrets, just in general. It's not very useful on him at all. I need to get this void seed cleared, though. So where are these other void monsters? Are they over here? Yeah. I also like the Huntress because when you kill the void enemies, she automatically locks on to the little creepy thingamadoo that comes out of it to possess other things. With other champions, you have to like actually try and aim for them, and it's the worst. Like especially when you get later into runs, if you run into a void seed and you need to clear them out, and there's a ton of enemies spawning at any given time, it's almost impossible to kill that little thing before it possesses something else. Also, hello, my 4 viewers. I appreciate you all for being here. We are on our Wednesday stream, which is about 2.5 hours long, and then on the weekends we will have more longer streams, so like 3-4 hour. But hello, I'm Rivet. My pronouns are they, them. I play Risk of Rain for the most part. I used to play, I used to be a variety streamer, kind of, where I would like pick a game that I would play all the way through. I guess it would be more accurate to call me a Let's Play streamer, where I would pick a game and play it all the way through as my main game, and then I would pick another game and move on to that. But I've decided to kind of focus on specific games to cultivate an audience that doesn't leave me between games. That made it sound like I have like a grudge against my ex-viewers, but it's understandable. Like, you know, everybody, I feel like a lot of people when they play, or when they watch streams on Twitch, they're either one of two people. They have like a streamer specifically that they go on there to watch, or they have a specific game that they like to watch. And I feel like a lot of people are more in the specific game that I want to watch. Whether that's because they have like a creator that they like, that like a combination of like they go there to watch a specific game and a specific creator, or they like found that they liked watching that specific game from a specific creator. But anyway, I think a lot of it's focused around like what games they play. You know, like a lot of like what creators you're gonna watch is gonna be influenced by what games you want to watch them play. So I figured it would be a good idea to just focus on like 1 to 3 games. I haven't decided on what the other 2 or 3 are going to be, but Risk of Rain is definitely one of them. Just because I have so many hours in it, and it's not something that I will really get frustrated with, like I do with a lot of competitive multiplayer. It's something that is entirely dictated by my skill alone. There's no other humans involved. And I can just go. Oh no, I don't want the squid. Who said I wanted the squid? I gotta recycle the squid. There's two mid-kit printers, but no scrapper. I would love to have some med-kits, but there are no scrappers. And I mean, I guess I don't really have any super important white items. So I can maybe pull off getting a few without fucking things up, but... I'm gonna grab that turret since it's right there. Oh shit, is this my healing? Oh no, that's a missile. Missile drone. It would be really nice to have a scrapper, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I guess I'm gonna have to risk it. I'm gonna have to risk of rain it. Pizza was like, I was waiting for that. Okay. I guess I don't need the energy drinks. That's me every time that I go into a gas station and I look at the energy drinks. I say to myself quietly, I don't need the energy drinks. Now that I'm on my Vyvanse, especially as now I've dialed in my dosage to the point where it gives me the most energy and motivation that I need for the most part. But the consequence of that is that I can no longer consume caffeine in very significant amounts. And like obviously that's a good thing. Like that's obviously if I'm like the caffeine was serving the same purpose. Like it wasn't like I was drinking caffeine for the flavor, you know? But it was, I don't know, I like I just like fizzy drinks in general. Like it's got a good sensory thing for me. I don't like just plain water. But, I mean, I do like, water's good, you know? My whole mantra was stay hydrated. For like a lot of my early career, I was like, what would be the thing that I say at the end of every stream? Stay hydrated, take a piss. But fizzy drinks just, they be hitting different, you know? And caffeine's kind of that way, where it was like a combination of like the good sensory feeling of having a fizzy drink, a cold fizzy drink, and also it made me slightly more focused, even though it didn't really. Like caffeine does not, by the way, caffeine, even though I used it to like keep myself stimulated and to not be completely unfocused, it's nothing compared to ADHD medication. Like I was using caffeine to like medicate myself and like help me focus for like ADHD, but then like when I got Vyvanse, I completely stopped any sort of consumption of caffeine, and I just don't think that I need it. Like I'll look at it and I'll just be like, I'm gonna drink this and it's going to hurt me. Like I'm gonna drink this and I'm gonna feel like my heart's going to explode. And like that's, I mean, yeah, like long term, that is probably what's gonna happen if you take Vyvanse and caffeine. It's already bad that I drink, because like that I drink and take Vyvanse, because a lot of people say that when you take ADHD meds, it raises your heart rate, and alcohol also raises your heart rate. Even though it is a depressant, it still raises your heart rate. Oh fuck. There's a soldier syringe printer. I gotta get to, I hope there's a scrapper on this level. God, shit, fuck. God damn it. That was a void mushroom. A void mushroom that I stepped into his little thing, and because his damage procs so many times per second, like an ignite effect, it hit me with a ton of those collapse debuffs, and then it just dealt me like a fuck ton of damage. That's another thing that I don't really like about the void shit. For the most part, is that you can't get hit by the void. I guess it's good that there's not a lot of void enemies. Like, void enemies don't show up the same way that elites do. Void enemies only show up when you have a void seed or you use one of the void item things. And I think that's fair, because when they spawn, when you have a void enemy around you, you can't afford to be hit by them. For the most part, you can't afford to get hit by a lot of the attacks, and it gets worse. It gets worse the higher tier the enemy that gets possessed by the void things, because if you get hit by a greater wisp that is void possessed, you are gonna take that gigantic brunt damage of that initial hit. And then 2 seconds later, you're going to take about around the same amount of damage, unless you can heal to make up for it. And I think that's nuts. Also, I just got a Dios. First item is a Dios, so this is going to be a promising one. I did talk about how much I like Bandit. Just because of the R ability. I think the R really sells Bandit for me, because you can take care of a lot of the flying enemies in fairly few hits. And if you get a crowbar, it's even better. Oh yeah, Trophy Hunter's Tricorn. I love that the Bandit already has like a wide-brimmed hat on, and the Trophy Hunters gives him another hat on top of his hat.
If you can afford it, you should try this.
Yeah, I'm not going to use it on the first boss unless it's something I really want. I generally have an idea of what bosses I would use this on. I wouldn't use it on the Beetle Queen under any circumstances. Fuck her item. We got Red Whip. Twice the cowboy. Gives me an idea for like a JoJo adjacent character. It's like a cowboy who gets more powerful the more cowboy hats he puts on. And every time he puts on a cowboy hat, like another 6-shooter appears around, like a phantom 6-shooter appears above his shoulder. His special ability is that he pulls out a hat tailor or something. And the hat tailor just gives him all of his hats. And he just has 66 shooters. Amazing. I just came up with a JoJo character on the spot. His stand is the tailor. Or no, it's not a tailor. Do hatters exist anymore? Are there hatters? I'm sure there. I mean, where's the line between hatter and just the people that work in the shops that make the hats, right? Cowboy Bonsai. I feel like the stand... well, it wouldn't be a band name. I feel like it's not as like Japanese sounding, but like just having the stand be called 9 Iron, I feel like would be great. Man, so confident confirms that hatters exist. Nice. They're probably not as common out here, but I imagine in the UK there's a lot more hatters. Out here we have the occasional, we have like a, I think the most we have in terms of like small time clothing services, I guess, would be like a, what's it called? Like a tux shop, or like a cleaning, like we have a tuxedo or like a dry cleaning place that they advertise themselves as a dry cleaning place, but they do alterations and repairs and shit for clothes. But we don't really have any, we don't have cobblers or hatters or anything. Yeah, it's a lot less common. Like, if there are cobblers, it's going to be like an Etsy thing or like an online, or like a by appointment thing, not something that you walk in to do. Oh, fuck. Shit. God damn it. I don't have any healing. I have really good items, but I have no healing. And I am afraid of that machine gun guy over there. Fucking do it. Okay. Please give me healing. Oh, thank God, a med kit. Fast fashion is killing hatters. Yeah, fast fashion in general is just killing everything. Like they're killing the environment. They're killing their workers. They're killing fucking small time fashion shit. Yeah, alteration is really only a thing that you think of when you have like most people in the US, when they buy clothes, like they go to Walmart, and like when their clothes wear out, when their clothes wear out, they go to Walmart again and buy new shit. They don't repair their stuff, and like a lot of the times if you are repairing a piece of clothing, it's because it's implied that you spent a lot of money on that piece of clothing, or it has some sort of sentimental value, or it's like a complex piece of clothing, and that's the only reason why you would go to get altered or repaired or anything like that. What'd you say?
A macaw. Just a macaw loose.
Oh, apparently there's a macaw. Breaking news, somebody has informed me that there is a macaw, an endangered macaw, flying around Indianapolis that got loosed from the zoo.
I mean, they do just let those fuckers fly around.
More news at 10. Yeah, but I mean, like, honestly, I feel like it would be really nice to have more shops open around me that had people that specialize in repairing clothes, like just clothes in general, and like shoes and hats and all sorts of stuff like that. I think in general it would be a very, very cool thing, especially if it was like cheaper and like they got a lot of business, but that's just simply not the case, unfortunately. Because, like, honestly, I hate having clothes and throwing them away and buying new shit. Like, that's one of the worst things about clothing for me. And historically, I've never been the kind of person that buys a lot of new clothes. I will generally wear my clothes until they are unwearable. That is my mantra, and that's how I am with cars. That's how I am with a lot of things. Is that I will not buy a new thing unless it's broken. Unless the thing that I have is broken, for the most part. And I wish there was like some sort of service that like could repair the clothes that I already have, you know? I mean, my fashion sense has kind of changed since I've come out, and I don't wear a lot of like the same combination of skinny jeans and t-shirts that I used to. But when I do get clothes, I don't want to like have to buy clothes every year. I just want to have clothes and spend a lot of money on them and then like have them last forever, you know? And that's just, it's never reliable that way. Even expensive shoes, like the shoes that I have on right now that I wear to work, I bought them, or Pizza bought them for me back in 2021. Yeah, I think it was around this time last year, I think, actually. My shoes. Or a little bit earlier than it. I think it was like early in the year last year. But I walk every day, like pretty heavily around the campus that I work at. And my shoes have already been like pretty worn through. I've had to put shoe goo on them to like make them last longer. That's kind of like a thing that you can do. Pro tip, if you have shoes that wear down really fast and you are tired of purchasing new shoes, just get shoe goo and just slather it on the bottom and let it harden, and generally you can get a solid like 2 or 3 months more out of those shoes, even if it's like a big old hole in it. But I just wish that I could do that, like that was a more accessible option for like pretty much every piece of clothing that I wear. I'm not a hat person, though, so I can't really speak much for hatters. I don't really wear a lot of hats. I feel like I treat my hair as my hat. Like people wear hats because they like a specific like style thing. I don't know. My hair is my hat, I guess. I feel like hats are for people with short hair, but I don't know. I do. You can wear hats if you have long hair. But it's more of like an accessory. But like the hat, if you have short hair, is more of like it is your head. I need to get out of here pretty fast, I think, because we're coming up on 15. I want to get this gas, though. Or this. Bibo! Alright, give me something good. Oh! Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, so I have to use my tricorn. I have to use my tricorn this round and then come back for this one. Yeah, I'm hoping I get lucky and get a fucking shit, the big guy, imp overlord. If I can get an imp overlord. Yeah, basically any enemy that unless it's a beetle queen, as long as I don't get a beetle queen, I think I'll be fine. Okay, let's get out of here because I'm already pretty much guaranteed. I'm guaranteed a yellow item and a replacement for my hunter's tricorn. It's gonna be a lot. I'm gonna be devoting a lot of time to going back and getting that, though. I think that's the only downside, is I'm definitely gonna go over 15. Give me the bear. Oh, yep, it's an imp. Nice. Epic. Yeah, this is gonna be a good run, I think. Oh, get out of here. Wait, hold on. I just realized that I had a fuel cell. Does that affect the tricorn? Oh, okay. Alright, I'm just gonna... Because I think I can just pick up the item if I go over there. Alright. Gotta speed over there. Because if I get a good 4th stage boss, then this would be incredibly helpful. Also, there's a scrapper. Come on. Doopy doop 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 doo. Jeez. Oh jeez. Oh, I'm gonna miss. God damn it. Predatory instincts. I mean, Chronobobble. I honestly don't think that predatory instincts would be that useful on Bandit, but it's nice to see anyway. Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, hold on. Okay. I thought for a second that it wasn't gonna let me use a tricorn again. Oh, sticky keys. When am I gonna learn to turn you off? I swear to God, it happens like once every run. Or once every stream. Sundered Grove. I've still not had fantastic success consistently finding the golden chest, but it's good to know that there are other places that is likely being put. I guess we should start up top. I don't really have like a good... I feel like on most stages I have a good way that I go about exploring each area. But for Sundered Grove, I never really have a consistent way that I go around looking for things. Nope. Ah! Leave me alone! Alright, let's... There's a scrapper, so that's good. I find a good printer. I definitely don't need the fungus. I don't need the fireworks. Get out of here. Ah! Leave me alone. Fuck. Chronobobble. I wouldn't mind having Chronobobble if I had it corrupted, but that's not a guarantee. Get out of my face. Okay. And then... Fuck. Fireworks. Alright. We might be coming back to that. Boink. 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 We got monster teeth. 2 monster tooth. Oddly shaped opal. I don't mind the monster teeth. It's a good backup way to heal. You can't turn around because you're slow. Alright. There's a big chest. Oh shit, there's a Dune Strider. Mired Urn? Is that worth it? Mired Urn. I mean, I guess I do get close to them. Sure, why not? It'll definitely help out later, especially since our shift makes it easier for us to, or it encourages us to run into the middle of groups of enemies for that AoE effect. So I think the Mired Urn would be a good combo for that. Rivet. Okay, teleporter's up here. Golden chest could be in that little alcove thing that I usually expect it to be, but it's not always. But it might not. Ah! Fungus! Ooh, a syringe. Alright. And more monster tooth. If we get a more reliable way of healing ourselves, that'll be a good free 3 white scraps. But we already have we have 4 white scrap. Now 5 that I have my fungus. Shrine of Chance. There's a printer. What's that? That topaz brooch. Golden chest is up here. I've never, in my entire time of playing Risk of Rain, I have never, ever, ever, ever seen the golden chest spawn up here. I know it normally, like it probably does in general. Like obviously it does, but I've never seen it personally. We've got a lot of gold to farm though. $3,000 gold, Jesus. Just gonna pick on this mushroom from afar. Jesus Christ, though, that bleed, the bleed from the shatter spleen is nuts. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that with Shatter Spleen as Bandit, all you have to do is walk up behind them and shoot them a fuck ton, and you like basically set 15 stacks of bleed on them. Yeah, that was 19 stacks of bleed with one full clip unloaded into their backside. Yeah, 18. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of bleed. That's a lot of damage. Oh, Jesus. No, 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 don't kill me. Please don't. Oh my God, that would have been really bad. No, 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 no. Okay. Okay. Thank God. All right, what do we got? Frost Relic. I've warmed up to Frost Relic a little bit. Just a wee bit. They made it better by making it like a globe thing. I feel like it was like flat before. And it gets bigger the more enemies that you kill. So generally I think it's pretty good, especially if you're a character that is often up in other enemies' faces. I need to get rid of this tricorn, though. And I think that's all of the items. All of the important ones, at least. Let's go check downstairs before we move on. Lepton Daisy. All that I can think of when I see Lepton Daisy, all I can think of is the Lipton tea. By the way, they have a powdered iced tea from Lipton. I have fond memories of a child of like thinking that it tasted so good, but it probably tasted nothing like tea. It was just like, it was like artificially tea flavored lemonade, like the country time. I remember back in the early 2000s, powdered sugary drinks were a very common thing, at least in my household. I don't know if it was the same for everyone else, but we had a lot of like Tang orange juice powder. We also had country time lemonade a lot. A really disgusting thing that I used to do back when I was a child, for various reasons that are very personal. But I used to take a tortilla and I would put country time lemonade powder in it. And I would roll it up and I would eat that shit. That was like my little treat, I guess, as a child for myself, was sneaking into the kitchen to make a country time roll up out of a tortilla and country time lemonade mix. It was fucking awful. I almost want to, like, I know that one of the long-time goals, this is something that I've completely forgotten about, by the way, and it's not something that I'm going to achieve anytime soon, but I had put in my bio, it's still down there if you want to look at it, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. One of my goals is that if I get to partner, I'm going to make a Spam and crushed Oreo sandwich with mayonnaise. But I feel like if I should replace that with I will eat my childhood country time lemonade snack, where I just get country time, like I'll buy country time lemonade mix, roll it up in a tortilla, and eat it on stream to see if it's as good as I remember. But I'm definitely not going to hit partner anytime soon. I feel like that's just a given. Like a lot of the, like even just a lot of the creators that I follow on on Twitter. I feel like a lot of them don't have partner status. Because it's just, the requirements are ridiculous. Like, it's 75 average viewers, like, up from affiliate where you are, where you only have to have 3 average viewers. Like, this is just a wild gap. But who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll become a famous Risk of Rain streamer. I mean, speaking of streamers, I think recently I didn't used to be a fan of his, but I started warming up to Jerma, Jerma985. He's pretty funny. I think before I was turned off from his streams because he seemed like too serious, but I've just now realized, my autistic ass has realized that the seriousness is part of the bit, and so now I'm totally getting why people think that he's so funny. He was playing Morrowind here recently, and like I just want an entire, like I feel like I would, no joke, watch an entire stream of Jerma playing Morrowind all the way through. And that's not something that I would do often. Like, even though I stream and I expect people to like watch my content, I don't really watch a lot of streamers all the way through. Or I don't have like a streamer that I would like watch it. Like even Vinny Vinesauce, which is like one of my favorite streamers of all time. I would not sit and I find it hard to watch his full streams. But I feel like Jerma would be someone that, like, if he was playing specifically Morrowind or like a lot of the games that I know and love, I feel like I would genuinely watch them all the way through. We got Gups. Okay, so this is gonna be the main test of like whether whether the frame rate increases, or the frame rate gets better, the blurriness, that is, gets better. So as we get later into this run, definitely let me know if you start noticing any like artifacting, or if it gets really, really blurry. Don't hesitate to let me know, because I did in fact make those changes specifically so that I could prevent that from happening. No! No, I'm gonna die. Ah, shit. I have a Dios, though. I forgot that I have a Dios. I had the Dios since the beginning, and it made me forget that I had the Dios. I was gonna be so sad, though. This has been such a good run. Yeah, I knew the second that he hit me that I was gonna be fucked. No, there was no way I was surviving that shit. Ah! The contraption got possessed. Come on. Okay. All right, we've still got 8 monsters to clear before the void seed collapses. There's a turret. I guess we'll start up the void monsters will fight each other, so maybe if we just explore around a little bit, they'll thin themselves out while we enjoy our nice steak from afar. Six nine six. Nice. 696 health. It's the funny number. We've got more bleed, even though we definitely don't need it. Regenerating scrap. I think I'll take mobility over scrap. Ooh, another oh my god. Another tricorn. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. You know? I've never had 3 tricorns in a single one. I'm guessing that the planula is the item for the grandparent. At least that's what I'm guessing. Get up top. Alright, there's a drone over there. I don't think we're going to benefit too much from having drones. Yeah. I'll pick them up, but I won't seek them out. We are doing, like, super decent damage, though. Like, I'm not having too much issue at all getting rid of enemies, and I think that's a good thing in general. Good sign. Also, holy shit. Why the fuck is the teleporter up here? Like, how am I supposed to get, I mean, obviously I just did get to it, but, like, if I didn't have the movement abilities to get to it, how would I get to it? You getting all the good RNG. Yeah, right? Oh, I just took both of those attacks to the face. All right, let's go clear this void seed. They did thin themselves out a little bit. There's a trowel of the mountain. Yeah, this Shatter Spleen is... I think the Shatter Spleen is responsible for most of the damage that we're doing, honestly. But where the fuck are these void enemies? Okay. All I had to do was walk by a Lemurian and let him ass blast me. Yeah, that's such a tragic. That's such a tragic end. Oh. Those are the worst deaths. The ones that you knew were just like that were just like instant death things. One shot protection is not going to save you from a series of 4 fireballs that each. But yeah, I think I'm going to keep it relatively short tonight. I'm not going to dive into another run just in case it goes well over. I think last time I tried to end the stream, and the run went like way longer than I anticipated it to. I anticipated ending like an hour earlier than I did. And I did not. I definitely did not. I ended up going pretty much almost to the latest that I expected to do it. But yeah, anyway. That is Risk of Rain. We're going to be back this weekend with some Golden Sun The Lost Age. Because I started that before I went on hiatus, and I'm going to continue it and finish it because I went through all the trouble of transferring my save file. So I'm hoping we can finish that together, and then I'm going to keep playing Risk of Rain, but I'm also going to be thinking about what other games I should play, and I want to make sure that they're not something like a new game that I think I'll be interested in or I've not played a lot. I definitely want to play a game that I'm familiar with. At least I don't want to be figuring out anything as my main game for the most part. So I think Metroid, maybe. I'm just trying to think of something that I can play in perpetuity. For the most part, and like I'm not the kind of person that is that has a lot of games that they can play that are like single player and like linear and like have an ending. I'm not good with playing games like when I reach the end of a game is when my motivation to play that game stops. So if I have played a Metroid game and finished it, unless I've gone a long time since I've last played it all the way through and finished it, then I'm probably not going to be super invested in playing it. And I'll play through it once. If that is the case, I'll play through it once and then I'll stop playing it. And that was kind of the framework for a lot of my streams for the longest time, was that I was just picking a bunch of games that I haven't played in a long time, and I played them all the way through. And then I would be done with it, and then I would move on. So I think I want to pick like a multiplayer game or something that I can mess around with that doesn't necessarily have a concrete end, and play those on stream. So contenders are obviously roguelikes. I have a lot of roguelikes that I still play and have hundreds of hours in. Like I could Enter the Gungeon could easily be a contender. Hades could be a contender. I haven't played Hades lately. Apex Legends, Final Fantasy 14 would be a good option, I think. So in general, just like multiplayer games that aren't too demanding of me focus-wise and aren't too high of a skill requirement, but also don't really have an end, and I can just keep playing them. But yeah, I appreciate you all being here. I've had a really good return from hiatus. Like every time that I've streamed Risk of Rain 2 since I've started the past 2 streams, I've gotten up to 5 viewers. And that is, like, before hiatus, I was lucky to have 3 viewers in for more than 30 minutes. So like I'm very much grateful for all of you that stopped by. And I really hope that you come back. I play both for myself and also for those that want to hang out and be chill and comfy and have someone that is pretty low key to watch play games and are knowledgeable about them, I guess. I think that's a lot of the draw that I had. It's even back when I first noticed when I was playing Morrowind. I noticed that there were a lot of people that came by to watch the Morrowind streams because I know a lot about Morrowind and I play it very well, and I don't feel like I'm like figuring things out. Like I'm just very confident about my Morrowind knowledge, and I feel like my skill and like how I was playing the game, portrayed that to people, and it really drew them in. I think I got a lot of viewers out of that who are just like, wow, this person knows a lot about Morrowind. I'm gonna stick around. So I'm hoping it's kind of the same. How it'll be kind of the same with other games that I put a lot of hours into that I want to dedicate my stream time to. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate you all. It's been a really good return. I've had a lot, like an average of 3 viewers for the, and that's like, that's weird for me to say because as an affiliate, one of the requirements to become affiliate is to have 3 average viewers for a month. And I already met that goal, like towards the beginning of me streaming. But it kind of petered off and I started getting like 1 to 2, 3 viewers. But now I have like a consistent 3 to 5 since I've returned. So I'm hoping to build on that a little bit. Especially with like Risk of Rain in particular. I think it's a good place to have like a good default game to like come back to and always have an audience that'll watch it, you know. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Stay hydrated and be careful out there. It is a dangerous world and getting increasingly dangerous as time goes by, but I hope that my streams are kind of a little chill spot for you in the midst of all that. So yeah, we'll be back on Friday at 4 p.m. with some Golden Sun 2, and then after that we will be back on Saturday at 1 p.m. with more Golden Sun as well. And then every Wednesday will probably be a Risk of Rain stream until I finish Golden Sun, and then after that we will move into like kind of a rhythm of moving between Risk of Rain and 1 or 2 other games. But yeah, have a good rest of your week. I appreciate you all for being here, and I'll see you later. Peace out.